recording and continue on with where we left off, and in a brief time remaining here. And let me go to my notes and methodology and go to lesson plan here. And okay, so yeah, all right. So let me go back to the Creswell and Poth notes, and in the brief time remaining, and make sure I'm sharing the screen. Share screen. I think that's it here. Okay, so okay, can you see? You can see the notes, I think. Okay, so where did we finish off last time? And feminist theories are a big focus on this. Okay, so yeah, I guess this is an important point. I mean, not all of it is really leftist or left of center or critical race theory oriented. Here's some interpretive frameworks that they focus on: social science theories, including social justice theories, and figure one provided one categorization of interpretive frameworks: positivism, post-positivism, interpretivism, constructivism. The point is, positivism is considered the most traditional. Some of these, of course, are considered more radical, and of course, this critical race theory has now gotten lots of attention in American politics. And then, queer theory for. I'm not certain what kind of theoretical framework that they actually use. I mean, I've seen people interviewed who, and I think they do a lot of gender studies and looking for gender as a source of cause of motivation, of causation in social interaction and social identity and social construction of people as subjects in society, post-colonialism. And this is only a partial list. And there are other perspectives they're not going to cover in this introductory textbook, and he outlines them here. They're not really focused on here. Post-positivism is and so this is all part of qualitative research. Remember, I showed you that focus group study by that paid researcher who the New York Times hired to do a focus group analysis of 8 conservative men in America. That person who does that kind of work, I'm sure, makes a nice living because they know how to do focus group research for political ads and advertising campaigns for products, right? So clearly there's a right and a good and a bad way to do this kind of research. And there are people who do a good job because they make a nice living because they produce results. Like that Anderson person who was leading that focus group of those 8 conservative men that we covered on Wednesday. But post-positivism is a more traditional framework. Post-positivists do not focus so much on cause and effect. Post-positive recognize that all cause and effect is a probability that may or may not occur. I think if I had to put my work in one of these categories, it would be here. I'm really my work is more in this direction of post-positivist interpretation of particularly historical events like the Vietnam War, the significance of the Trump phenomenon, and so on. Post-positivism has the elements of being reductionist, logical, empirical, cause and effect oriented, and deterministic based on a priori theories. This approach often appears among qualitative researchers who have some prior quantitative research training, people that are familiar with statistics. It is common in the health sciences, big news these days, right, in terms of trying to deal with the pandemic, where qualitative research often plays a supportive role to quantitative research. I mean, if you want to figure out how to implement the correct social distancing policies, you can't just rely upon statistics. You have to find out how people are responding, how people are reacting. What can you do and can you not do? What is feasible in Korea versus what is feasible in the United States regarding social distancing, for example. So qualitative research has to be phrased in terms that quantitative researchers and funding agencies accept. So like I said, it's typically used to support quantitative research. I can imagine, it'll be interesting to see how the pandemic is going to be a topic in these future textbooks on how to do qualitative research, right? Creswell, this this edition of this book is already 5 or 6 years old. So it's going to be interesting to see how the experience of the pandemic affects this kind of philosophy of science, because particularly even reading the newspaper, when I read the press during the pandemic, and we're trying to find out what to do, how the coronavirus acts, even the New York Times is reporting such and such articles of information has been published. These researchers have found these results, but the research has not yet been peer reviewed. Like peer review is critically important for making sure that the information that we're basing social distancing policies on and other policies, that this research data finding is actually valid. So the scientific method has been all in the news the last 2 years in news reports. Post-positivists view research as a series of logically related steps. They emphasize that participants have multiple perspectives. They do not emphasize the existence of one reality. They emphasize rigorous methods of qualitative data collection and analysis, multiple levels of analysis, and so on. Yeah, I think that's a good point to conclude on. This kind of research is heavily used in health research, which has obviously been the focus of the world for the last nearly 2.5 years. Okay, that's where we stop now. And because somebody else might need to get in here. So I'll start seeing some of you after class. Bye.